Okay, let's jump right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're looking at the 2026 landscape of AI coding tools. Right now, the market is absolutely flooded with these tools, right? Everyone is promising to help you code faster and better, totally for free. But we're digging into the ENCODE source material today to unpack what is really going on behind those $0 promises. Because when it comes to the true costs of AI, the price tag isn't always right there on the label.
Nothing is truly free. I mean, it's a bit of a cliché, but our source material hits the nail on the head with this one. Despite all the incredibly tempting, completely free software being thrown at us by massive tech giants and open source communities alike, there is always a catch. There's always some sort of hidden exchange happening behind the scenes.
Which really begs the question, if you aren't swiping your credit card for a $20 monthly sub, what exactly are you paying? Well, throughout this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We're looking at the hidden costs, the super strict usage caps, and the underlying API fees that are just kind of lurking behind the top 7 AI coding tools out there right now. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to budget your resources.
So, let's kick things off by talking about proprietary tools and their limits.
I'm talking about the big names here. GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Amazon Q, Gemini. They all boast a quote-unquote free tier. But let's look at the reality. GitHub Copilot Free, for instance, gives you 2,000 completions a month. Now, to a beginner, that sounds huge, but let's actually do the math on that. That breaks down to roughly 65 inline completions a day. If you're a busy developer working full-time on a project, the data shows you're going to burn through that entire monthly cap in just a single week. It's a fantastic tool if you're just doing weekend projects or for your student, sure. But for daily, professional use, you're literally hitting a brick wall by day 7.
And honestly, those limits get even tighter when we start looking at the more advanced tools. Cursor's free tier caps you at just 50 premium multi-file requests. Now, Cursor is famous for its really cool visual multi-file editing features like Composer. But because complex edits eat up multiple requests, you're going to exhaust that 50 request limit in about one productive afternoon. It's kind of like being handed the keys to a sports car, but you only have a thimbleful of gas.
Then we run into a totally different kind of limitation, ecosystem lock-in. Tools like Amazon Q and Gemini actually offer super generous free tiers. Amazon Q even gives you unlimited completions. But here's the kicker. Their context is highly specialized. Amazon Q is absolutely incredible if you're knee-deep in AWS IAM policies or Lambda functions. And Gemini, it's fantastic if you're building on Google Cloud or Firebase. But the second you step outside of those specific ecosystems to do some general-purpose coding, the suggestions are noticeably weaker. So you definitely get real value, but only if you agree to play exclusively in their sandbox.
Which naturally leads us to our next point, the open source catch. Because what happens when developers hit those proprietary limits, they pivot to open source. But when it comes to the true costs of AI, open source flips the script entirely. See, proprietary tools cap your usage to protect their own server costs. Open source tools, on the other hand, give you totally unlimited software usage. You can use it as much as you want, but you are shifting the actual AI processing costs directly to your own API bill. Every single time that AI generates code, it's costing you fractions of a cent.
And the tools in the 2026 landscape are absolute beasts. Just look at these open source titans. OpenCode has over 95,000 stars on GitHub and this amazing terminal native interface. Aider automatically tracks every single AI edit as a Git commit, which is super cool. And Continue, it lives right inside VS Code and acts exactly like Copilot. These tools are completely free to install, completely open, and incredibly powerful. But again, you still have to pay the underlying AI brain to do the actual thinking for you.
So, let's actually calculate your true costs here. Let's look at the hard dollar amounts. Say you hook up a budget-friendly model, like the DeepSeek API. You're probably only spending maybe $2 to $5 a month. Very manageable, right? But what if you want top-tier, cursor-level performance? If you connect your open source tool to a premium API like Cloud Opus, that can suddenly cost you up to $50 a month. It's kind of ironic, but trying to use a quote-unquote free open source tool can actually end up costing you significantly more than just buying a standard $20 Cursor Pro subscription.
Now, there is exactly one way to completely dodge that API bill. The only way to get a truly $0 cost is by running local models using software like Ollama. This runs the AI entirely offline right on your own hardware. But the true cost here, it's your hardware and the code quality. You're trading away the brilliant, massive logic of those cloud models, and you absolutely need a beefy machine. We're talking at least 16 gigabytes of RAM and ideally a dedicated GPU just to get basic autocomplete to not lag out on you.
Let's see how all this translates into practical daily setups. If you've got the hardware for it, this completely free, zero-budget setup is brilliant. You combine the Continue extension inside VS Code with Ollama running a local DeepSeek model. Boom, you're spending exactly $0 a month. It's great for basic autocomplete or, having it explain small snippets of code to you. Just keep in mind, it's definitely going to struggle with complex multi-file code-based changes.
But here is where it gets really fun. You can actually mix and match these tools for maximum value. For literally $5 a month in API costs, you can create a highly capable hybrid setup. You just use GitHub Copilot's free tier for quick inline suggestions as you type, and then when you actually need some heavy lifting done, you pivot over to your terminal and use OpenCode powered by the super affordable DeepSeek API. This one setup covers the vast majority of individual developer needs for less than the price of a fancy coffee.
Want to step it up? For $10 a month, you can hit near professional quality. You do this by delegating your major code-based changes and serious refactoring to Aider, powered by the brilliant Claude Sonnet API. And meanwhile, you keep your day-to-day inline completions cheap by running Continue with DeepSeek. So, you're getting top-tier AI assistance, completely customized to your workflow at literally half the price of a standard corporate subscription. It is a game changer.
But that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, figuring out when to finally pay up.
At what point does it make practical sense to just stop juggling a bunch of APIs and pay for a unified subscription? Well, the sources give us some clear signals that you have outgrown the free tier. If you're blowing through Copilot's 2,000 completion limit before day 10, yeah, you need an unlimited plan. Or if you're a terminal power user and your API bills are suddenly hitting $30 a month, you are literally losing money by not just subscribing to a flat-rate paid tool. Also, if you desperately need advanced features like multi-file autonomous agents or sharing contextual indexes across your entire engineering team, the free ride is basically over. Ultimately, the math is undeniable. Once your API bill creeps up into that $15 to $20 range, you have crossed the threshold. At that point, getting a polished paid tool with unlimited usage, way faster autocomplete speeds, and just a seamless user experience, it becomes the vastly superior deal. You can finally stop managing the tools and go back to, actually writing software.
Because at the end of the day, the true cost of AI isn't just the money. It's your time, it's your focus, and your momentum. The barrier to entry for AI coding has never been lower, and the options we have right now are incredible. But you have to ask yourself one final question. Are you spending more time fighting free limits, tweaking configuration files, and monitoring API dashboards than you are actually shipping code? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you find that perfect balance for your own coding workflow. Catch you next time.